Okay, so we touched the pending apocalypse. We touched on the ISDA, and the big one everyone wants to talk about is the upcoming vote for AMC. I wouldn't say that like you and I are diametrically opposed, but I would say that I'm upset with Adam Aaron for keep selling to hedge funds, and it just pisses me off that he's not doing these
Oh,
offerings to the public when he does it.
I'm glad. No, I'm glad we're about to talk about this, my friend.
Yeah,
I mean, you had me thinking that one day, and this
yeah.
your video, your little clip. It's why I wanted to do this video with you because you had complete opposite views as I do.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to talk about this one.
Okay. Paint me your picture.
All right, so hold on, buddy. Murphy, let me get this dog out of here real quick. He's gonna keep throwing stuff in my lap, and then I'm gonna hey, my buddy. Let's go in here for a little bit. All right. So now I agree with you. I was insanely mad about it for a long time. I was like, why the fuck would he give that to Pantera? It makes no sense in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
And then these came out, and the only sense I can make out of it is he ended up wanting, or he gave him these shares at that price because he wanted to get the yes vote for this conversion and this reverse split. And he knew, all right, I need to do one more deal with the devil basically to get what I need to get to be where I need to be. The reason I think he has done this with these hedge funds and these lenders, it's always lenders. You notice that?
Yeah.
It's always the lenders. So this is why I think it's so imperative for AMC to finally get out of this debt, get away from these predatory lenders. They have so much leverage on them. They have billions of dollars of leverage on them.
Yeah.
So I can see these guys coming over at him or at Adam Aaron, and I get it. Like, I wish he would sell it to us, start doing all this, getting rid of, he should have sold that ape to us. He could have raised a lot more money, and I can't back that.
Yeah.
I agree. He should have. That was so stupid. I bashed him about that too. But the only reason I can logically see is these guys have this leverage on them in the back end, and they're holding them technically kind of hostage, not being able to do that.
Yeah. So some of the loan agreements, I think you had posted them, kind of describing like limiting what AMC is allowed to do business wise.
Yeah. And that was the only thing I could see was those agreements were limiting them. And Adam and Aaron was like, all right. And on top of that, they were his lender. They had the leverage. So he had to play ball for a little bit. Now, the reason I am for this vote is a lot of people, well, I'll just go into this other part first. So I believe we need to get rid of this debt. It's the number one, everybody knocks AMC instantly. Debt. Why would you do a 10-to-1 split? The only reason you would do it that way is so you can raise a massive amount right away on the first dilution.
Yep.
And then from that point on, so what I think he wants to do at this point is go, all right, the only logical thing at this point would say, all right, I needed to do this little quick deal with the devil to get that percentage, to get my vote, to get me my shares that I've been asking for forever that retail will not give.
Yep.
So the way a company, the main way they obviously raise capital is revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Bonds. Well, bonds are not an option.
Yep.
And obviously offerings. So he was kind of felt limited at that point. So he felt he needed to get obviously Ape got attacked down. And one of the things I was saying right away is they're going to smash Ape. You're going to see all these FTDs right away. All the shorts are going to go after Ape. They're going to stop going after AMC. They're going to crush Ape. They're going to crush Ape down as hard as they can.
Went down to like 67 cents or something was its lowest.
Yeah, like because if I'm a short, I'm not worrying about at that point. I'm not worrying about AMC, the company.
Yeah.
I'm worrying about the way that they can raise capital and get out of that debt. So I'm going to worry about Ape. And they attacked Ape, and right away, there was that 43 million FTDs right away. The short interest was super high on Ape right away. It was higher than AMC for a brief period, and then it magically disappeared.
Yeah.
So what I was looking at is, all right, he's looking over going, all right, we need to switch this back. We need to do the 10-to-1. And then when we dilute right away, you'll be at $50, $60. You can raise billions.
Yeah.
You can pay off the debt. And at that rate, if he has billions of dollars and he goes to these banks, he's going to get a massive discount. Let's be real. He's going to get a big chunk of that off.
Yeah.
So what I think he's going to do is finally go, all right, I had to do this small little last deal with these predatory lenders to be able to get a massive amount of capital. And I think this next one will be to the public because it finally gives him an ability to raise it at $50, $60.
Yeah.
He lowered the float down. And now for new investors, now brand new people, they're looking over and they're going, hey, here's a float of 250 million. Or I'm not going to say 250 million. I'm sorry. I wrote down 250 million because it's 114, and I think he's going. I mean, sorry, it's 144 million after everything. And I think he's going to dilute 105 to make it 250 million.
Yeah, because that'd be about $5 billion if he did another 100 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I think he'll do, and he'll get about 5.5 after paying, like the banks for the fees and all that.
Yeah,
and then he'll have about 5.5. He'll take about 3 billion, pay down the debt to them. He'll probably pay off about 3.5, 3.6. So he'll still have about 1.4, but it'll be so stretched out, it's not a big deal at that point.
Yeah,
they'll be, they got their credit card coming out, they got popcorn coming out this year.
Yep.
They've got new revenue streams coming. So at that point, he doesn't need to pay the whole debt off in one instant.
Yeah.
But if you're a new investor, you're looking over and you go, hey, this company only has, 1.4 billion. That's easily manageable. They got new revenue coming in. They just did that deal with Saudi Arabia. A lot of people are mad about it, but I don't think they understand what the deal was.
Or the licensing deal. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So they put a 10 million investment into this company. It gave him a 10% stake. It was going to be in 50 theaters for 7.
Yeah.
Plus they were going to get the licensing fee for using their brand.
Yeah.
So he ended up basically selling them the 10%. So they're going to go out there and train them, but they still get the licensing fee for all of those theaters. So technically it's free revenue.
Yeah.
Plus he made a $10 million investment and turned it into 30. So he made $20 million and still gets licensing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the worst deal in the world. Everyone wants to make it paint it out like it was the worst thing ever. But back to the vote here. So at that point, he'll have a couple $1 billion in the bank. He'll have more money in the bank if he did 105 million. He'll have about 2.4 billion. That's more than the company's ever had.
Yeah.
Now he'll go ahead and now you have all these theaters struggling more than ever. He'll be able to buy a whole bunch of theaters, pennies on the dollar.
He'll be able to pick up Regal and those things for pennies. Yeah,
pennies on the dollar. And then he'll be able to close a whole bunch of underperforming theaters. And in the end of the day, they're a movie theater chain. Yeah. We need that to happen. Everybody's so mad about that. How do movie theaters be profitable? They have more theaters making money than losing. Mm-hmm. You got to buy the right theaters and you got to close the wrong ones. It's part of that company's business model. Yeah. So people got to stop getting so mad. I mean, yeah, he shouldn't have done it before when he did because they were kind of strapped. But he had to start kind of getting that cash burn down.
Yeah.
He had to do something, you know what I mean? But so I feel like at that point, by the time credit cards come out, popcorn comes out, everyone's so like, oh man, he'll just dilute. Well, at that point, no CEO is going to look over and go, I need to keep diluting and keep diluting and keep diluting and keep diluting. There's no reason to anymore. Yeah. But what that does is you kicked out these Anteras, these Silver Lake, these Mudricks, these predatory lenders that are controlling everything you can do.
Yeah.
Now you can give out that dividend. Now you can go explore new revenue. Now, if I'm a short in this play, all these people are blowing up about the shorts. If you're a short right now, you're going to just keep going. Why wouldn't you? You're going to keep going until something happens. There's no catalyst. You're like AMC's, they're not cash flow positive. They don't have that much money. Everyone's like, well, I'm not going to. You still got to get to the squeeze. You got to make the squeeze happen. Everybody's so worried about, well, if the squeeze happens and I have a little less shares, I'm not going to make as much. But if it never happens or the company goes out of business, you're never going to get the squeeze at that point. So you got to worry about that. Everyone wants to sit there and say fundamentals don't matter. They do matter. If fundamentals didn't matter, Antero would have never been involved because AMC would have been debt-free, never had to been involved with them in the first place. Mudrick, Silver Lake. Fundamentals matter in a squeeze play. Now, to get back to the vote and a short squeeze and all this. Now, the reason I think this will help us with the short squeeze. So let's say he does that. He sells 105. He raises 105 million. He raises the billions of dollars. He smashes the debt down. And I'm a short now. Yep. He still has 400 million shorts because he has authorized 550 million authorized shares.
Oh, of the apes.
No, after the conversion, he will be able to do another.
Oh, because there's like 5 billion that were authorized sitting in apes, right? Yes. Yeah.
So now he'll have 550 million authorized common.
Yep.
Now let's think about it as a short perspective. He just gave out 105 million, right? He still has a war chest of 440 million of shares of common if he ever needs to raise money.
Yeah.
If you're a short and you're not, scared shitless of that. And now he barely has any debt. He's getting closer to cash flow positive. He has new revenue streams coming in. Now you're sitting there going, maybe I do have a reason to get out of this play.
Yeah.
This company can't go debt free. And with that much common stock, he'll never give it out.
Yep.
He'll never give it out. But the fact that it's there, their war chest is that big, I'm not taking on that army. Why the fuck would you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They completely, as a short, you're finally nervous about it. Now, one of the things people are going to go is, well, the short interest goes down. This is the biggest problem with retail investors on this. And I've talked to so many people involved in the short industry. Okay, I'm going to try and explain something that a lot of people get wrong here.
Okay.
A lot of people look at a stock and they go, if it has high short percentage or high short interest, it's got to cover. That means that these guys are in trouble. Yeah. No, think about it this way. You're on a train. You're the first person on the train, okay? It's 10 cars long. Every time you stop, more come on, more come on, more come on. But nobody comes on your car.
Yeah.
All these other cars are getting filled up, filled up, filled up. There's a whole bunch of people that stop 10. Your car's still empty. So the percentage goes up higher and higher and higher. Do you feel cramped and that you need to get off the train? No, your car is still empty. Yep. And on top of that, the first person that gets involved, the higher the short interest goes. That means they started at the top. The price goes down and down and down the more the short interest goes in. So they're greener and greener and greener more the higher the short interest is. Because they got in early, the price stopped. So now they're green. So why would they cover unless they need to?
Yeah.
What you want to do is find high value shorts. So just because AMC's value or the short position or the short percentage is going to go down, the value of those shorts will not go down. What matters is when the shorts get read in a position.
Yeah.
And it's an expensive position to be read in.
Yep.
That's when they start to cover. So a lot of people are complaining, well, the short percentage will go down. That doesn't matter. The value of those shorts stays the same.
Yeah.
Now, it hurts him again because the cost to borrow, yes, right away it'll go down for a little bit. But it's so high on the new positions, the base price will be so high, it's still going to be more expensive to open up new positions.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cost to borrow will start skyrocketing because that, let's say you did 105 million, that's going to get bought up pretty quick.
Yeah. Oh, they'll get bought up in 3 days if they do it right. Or they could do it the GME way and just slowly dribble it here and there.
That's what I was hoping you'd use dribble at when it's going up and up and up.
Yeah, because I have a feeling if they announce they do the split, the reverse split, and then 5 days later they're like, well, we finished our offering. Then it's like when they announced the sale of Mudrick, the price just collapsed. Right? Like people are like, oh no, because it's the news that causes people to freak out, not the actual act.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so let me paint my worst case scenario apocalyptic version that I'm worried about.
No, I love it.
So as it stands, offering the 300 million or so shares to the hedge funds that they've done, and he said, okay, they've agreed they won't be able to sell for 90 days because he wants those votes, right? So, but after the split, this gives them 25 to 30% of the company, somewhere in there, like these hedge funds. Now, if he does do an offering and he doesn't do it to retail like we want him to, right? And he does sell it again to these hedge funds, they're going to be sitting at 59 to 70% ownership in the company, which then gives them the opportunity to essentially destroy the company from the inside, classic short attack style, where they say, okay, we have all this ownership, we want our people on the board, and there's nothing you can do about it because we've got all the voting power. And they put their little insiders on the board, and then they start shorting after that. They dump their shares, they start borrowing and selling and borrowing and selling and borrowing and selling, and then they destroy the company from the inside, and we have ourselves Regal 2.0. So that's the big like, if Aaron doesn't sell to retail and he sells to hedge funds, we're doomed.
I mean, if that scenario happens that way,
yeah,
I mean, we would be in a lot of trouble. Yes, I mean, but the reason I think he won't do it this time is because the price would be at a point where he can finally get out from under those guys. And before, even if he did the offerings, he wouldn't have been able to get out from under them, and they wouldn't allow it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at this point, also, you got to realize, let's say that this happens, they would have that percentage and he dilutes 105 million. That's a big, their percentage of what they own in the company drop. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
You said.
Yeah, if they sell as a retail,
they just gave it right to them.
Yeah, sells right to them, then they control the company.
Well, why would he? Let's willingly be like, all right, I'm going to go. I mean, at that point, why would he? Baby, come on for a second. Why would he willingly go? I'm going to give it straight to these guys and let them just take over the company because he knows that would be. You only deal with. Here's the reason that I don't think you do that. You only do that and deal with those predatory lenders if you at that point you're still going to owe them money if you still have to deal with them.
Yeah.
The way if he raises it at this amount of money, he no longer needs to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
So why would he go over and say, all right, let me give you guys that break now when he can finally say, I can kick you to the fucking curb.
Yeah. Which I hope. I figure.
But no, I mean, I'm hoping could if he could go your way. So I can't argue that because I can't tell you what he's going to do. I can't, I agree with you. If he does that, we're going to be in a lot of problems. But AMC's, that would be paid off.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine him saying, I'm going to take a massive discount, allow these guys to take control when I finally have the opportunity to get out completely from under you. And then if he goes the other route, to retail route, he could get it to where he's cash positive and then he has that giant war chest where he goes, all right, I could do another offering to retail for 20 million shares and then pay the debt off in full, where it's no big deal. And if he does it the retail way, you would have so much FOMO. Think of the FOMO, dude. If suddenly AMC did that offering of 105 million, paid off billions in debt, they're the number one theater in company. You see them buying all the right theaters again, credit cards again. I mean, the FOMO coming in, people would know the shorts are still there. New shorts wouldn't want to attack it anymore because they would look over and go, why would I attack that company? The only people that would short it now at that point are the people stuck. And then I feel like retail could finally overtake those because it wouldn't be as much as, it would defer retail shorts a little.
Yeah. On the positive side, if he does it the way you're saying, which fingers crossed, I hope, don't fuck me over again.
Well, I agree, man. If he does, I'm done with that. Obviously, I don't know what
with the elimination of the Paramount law, and they're cash positive. They're sitting on some billions. They have the ability to basically go back to the robber baron era of the studios and open their own studio. They can make their own movies. And, and they can send them right to their theaters at no cost because they wouldn't have to have any special deals about pricing and whatnot and cuts for the studio because you are the studio. That's why everyone's making all these rumors about Disney going in and buying up AMC, which, if I were Disney, it would have been a no-brainer. You could, who cares? Who cares if $5 billion of debt? That's nothing for a company that's worth, $300 billion or whatever.
And I will say one thing though, real quick.
Yeah.
Just because I just came across it before I go away from this point in the filing, it does talk about a hostile takeover.
Yeah.
Involving all of this and how this would prevent it and how. So I don't think he would write all this in there.
The apes were originally created as a poison pill for a hostile takeover that they could just flood. It was 2013 or whatever when they created those ape shares. Where there weren't apes back then, but they were just these preferred shares. Was a way to just flood the market with shares so that a hostile takeover couldn't happen. And then they use it in a different way as this.
Yeah, so that little thing right there is the reason why I also think he wouldn't just give it to the hedge funds because even if they did that, then he could just red pill the fuck out of it too.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he would go over, hey, let me give it to all you guys, pay it under at a discount, then let me have to red pill you and do a whole bunch more when I could just straight give it to retail at this point and get away from you. Now I feel like at this point, logically, with the price it would get to and what would become of the float and how much more attractive it would make it, I feel like at this point there's literally zero reason for him to keep working with these guys. I feel like this last little thing was him going, hey, here's my last little short-term bad handshake just to get to where I need to be in the long
term. Yeah. Okay. All right. You've quelled some of my fears, but like an abuse victim.
But nothing's guaranteed, buddy. I agree with you, man. I'm feeling it too. So nothing's guaranteed.
I love you, baby. I just get angry sometimes. Once bitten, twice shy.
Please, sir, some more. No, I hear you. I feel like before I mean, a lot like right away, a lot of people gave him slack because of the Mudrick and the Silver Lake, but those were convertible notes. Those weren't technically in his control. He inherited those.
Yeah.
That happened. All that agreement stuff happened before Adam Aaron, but everyone.
Oh yeah, the Silver Lake thing was automatically triggered at $13, and then.
Yeah, so he had no control, but everybody went nuts. He killed it, and it's like, no, he had no control on that.
Yeah.
So the first one I give him a pass on. Same with the Mudrick, a little bit, but Antera, the only thing I could truly logically think of, because he's asked so many times, and imagine if you're a CEO, because this is the way I feel like why he did the Antera thing.
Yep.
If you're a CEO, because of the three things we went over, and you can't raise that capital, the way he's looking at it, like, all right, let me do the deal. Sorry, he keeps throwing his toy in my face. Sorry, go get your toy. All right.
Glad you're napping, bud.
Yeah, it's like, why can't my guy be like yours? He's just hanging out back there, dude. Mine's nuts. He's so young, so he's a little pup. But at that point, it's like the only reason you would do it, and it even says it. I mean, the only reason you would do it, the only reason you would write in the filing is they're all yes and everything too. Is all right. I finally can get what I want, and Tara can make a whole bunch of money on the conversion. And now apes technically can get what they want because the short thesis is killed. Like I said, you can finally make shorts scared. Right now, they're not scared of AMC.
And if you go out and you buy a bunch of apes right now, then they convert 1-to-1. The $2 you're spending for an ape becomes a $6 AMC, and then becomes 10 of them becomes a $60 AMC or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a ton of like guys. There's money opportunity right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can. There's a really good way to average, and that's what a lot of people have been asking. If I go ahead right now, and I'm like, yes, it's very smart. If you have a high cost average right now in AMC,
if you want people who bought it $30 or whatever, you're screwed right now.
Yeah, exactly. If you're bought at $30 and you want to get an average down pretty dang good, buy ape at $2, and then when it converts over, that lowers your average price drastically.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that is a smart thing to do, but I can't say do it. That's financial advice. But yes, everyone that wants to know, is that a good way to average down? Buying ape right now is a great way to average down on the conversion.
All the AMC I have, I bought between $5 and $8. Between like January 2021 and April, sometime around there, and didn't really buy any more after that. And after the Mudrick thing, when it went to 70, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit on what I have, and just sit and wait. But I might go in and I might, drop $1,000 on some apes, get 500 of them, end up with 50 shares or whatever in the end, and just to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's like, that's the thing. Like that guy just wrote in the chat, we don't have enough money to buy AMC, but do you have enough to buy ape at half the cost?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like a lot of people want to know that's a way to get some money back too on a conversion on your play right now.
Yeah.
You can make some back on the ape conversion by buying that. I mean, I've been buying ape like crazy. I got lucky because I was buying it at 70 cents, 80 cents. And I was just telling everyone to keep going. I'm like, guys, when this converts, you're getting a steal.
Yeah.
And here's my point also. Like, so with the hedge fund thing. So with ape, when it was going down to 50, 60 cents, if we all say no and everything, we know he's going to dilute it as well through ape. He has no choice until he gets the cash flow positive. They have to make money.
Yeah.
So what that means they're going to do is keep diluting ape. He might have to keep doing these deals with predatory lenders.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want that to keep happening to the point where, like, that's where you start to get more nervous.
Well, then you're just in the debt spiral at that point. You're just diluting.
Yeah, exactly.
To pay off debt.
Screwed.
Yeah.
And that's why I look at the yes and the no and what it comes from. I'm like, if we say no, we are literally giving them the control. We are giving them that death spiral right away. Also, they're going to go, all right, well, you got to, like we just went over earlier. All right, well, you can't go to anyone else.
Yeah.
We'll give you a waiver on your debt covenant, but you got to keep coming to us. What just happened?
Yeah.
They gave him a waiver on it. So now Adam's got to keep going back to them.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be able to give the ape to us like we want.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, all right, well, maybe this is his way to get out from under these lenders and get out from under this stuff and be able to finally, because AMC right now, they're not going to be able to, at this rate, the way ape is, they're not going to get out from debt free for a long
time. Yeah. Especially the price.
This is the way they can get debt free right away.
I mean, if they sold all 5 billion apes At $2, yes, they could get out.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they're
they-
so
but then-
diluted. Yeah,
Yeah, then we're
Yeah.
all scared. Then
Yeah.
Jesus,
Then
then the squeeze is dead.
Yeah, then it's just a penny stock that is trading at a fraction of its probably seller pegged or whatever.